Probably sounds quite obvious, but sometimes we can rather perch ourselves into position, especially when we're working quite diligently at certain tasks at the desk. We can start to move or hold our body in a way that anticipates more movement or more effort than perhaps we need to hold in the body. So rather than sitting upright and alert, I actually encourage you to maybe sit back and really let go of some of the effort of your day. Maybe you could instead allow the chair to support you. Allow the chair to take the effort from your body. And maybe that might mean dropping into any sense of heaviness that you feel through the body. Really embracing any sense of heaviness that you sense. You might sense the eyelids feeling heavy, and you might close your eyelids or allow your gaze to soften. And as we start to perhaps slow down and drop into the body with our awareness, you might start to notice certain thoughts, certain feelings, certain sensations that begin to arise. And if you notice that you're no longer comfortable in any position, know that you can always change. You can always move about. There's no right or wrong in today's session. There's only what is right for you. If something doesn't feel right for you, please don't do it. Now that we've maybe had a moment to really land in the chair, maybe to lean back. You might take your awareness to your breath and notice any experience of your breath as it passes through your body. Perhaps you can hear the quiet sound of your breath. Perhaps you can feel the rise and the release of each breath. Perhaps you'd like to join me in starting today's session by really anchoring the awareness to the breath, by drawing 5 mindful breaths. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling long, silent, whistling breaths out through your mouth. You might again allow your breath to flow naturally. And from the movement of your breath, move your awareness out to any sense of your head that you have this afternoon. Maybe starting to locate where the head is positioned in relation to your neck and the rest of your body. You might need to move your head about a little to gauge if you come forward with your head, or maybe if you lean to a particular side. You might even be reaching back through your head. And start to notice if your head is maybe feeling quite heavy today, or if maybe you feel a lightness. Notice any areas of tightness or tension. And if it feels right, maybe start to move the head around to then feel into your neck. So you might open the jaw and carefully guide the head around in different directions. These might be the smallest micro movements to explore the neck. And if there was anywhere that you felt maybe you wanted to spend a little more time, maybe a little more care, you might pause. Take a few breaths into that area of your neck. So as I start to explore my own head and neck, I'm bringing my ears down towards the shoulders. And then the chin towards the chest. And then the back of the head towards the upper back space. And you might start to roll your head around in a circular motion, tuning into any areas of tightness, any areas that feel light and spacious. As you move about into your head and your neck, you might take this as a chance to really appreciate all that your head and your neck do. Really luxuriate in any sense of opening out. Inviting the breath to create space and lightness through the head and the neck. When you feel ready, you might bring your head back to center to balance at the top of the neck, the top of the spine. You might guide your awareness beyond your neck now, out to your shoulders. Notice if your shoulders reach forward or back. You might notice one shoulder leans down a little more than another. Notice if you have much awareness or just a fraction in the shoulders. And of course, remember, there's no right or wrong. There's simply what is right for you. So perhaps we go a little bit deeper into the shoulders today. We start to move the shoulders in a circular motion. So really following the natural form of the shoulder joints. Let's start to draw really large Gentle circles with the shoulders up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, down, forward. Maybe exploring the opposite direction. Notice if you feel a sense of smoothness. Or maybe you're a little bit more like me and you have a few crunchy spaces in the shoulders. Just notice how they're moving for you today. And if you want to be drawn out into bigger movements, allow the circles to grow. Feel free to explore moving one shoulder at a time. You might feel that the rest of the spine is also invited into this movement. And allow the spine to move with the shoulders if that feels right for your body. When you feel you've explored the shoulders with these circular motions, you might pause the shoulders in a neutral position. You might notice a sense of warmth or some tingling sensations around the shoulders. The next space I thought we'd explore in the shoulders is a movement that's a lot more specific. I'm going to move the shoulders forward and back. And one of the easiest ways I find to access this movement is to reach the arms out straight ahead and spread out through the fingertips as you flex out through the hands. Once you've created a flexion through the hands, imagine that someone is pushing both hands in towards you, drawing the shoulders to the wall behind you. And then reach your hands out ahead. Reach the shoulders with the hands out ahead. Pushing back, shoulders reach for the wall behind you. Reaching forward, the shoulders reach out ahead. Pushing back, the shoulders draw back behind you. Reaching forward, the shoulders reaching ahead. Keep exploring this movement forward and back through the shoulders. And notice what you feel. Maybe we feel into one more breath here before we release the hands and return the shoulders into a neutral position. Finally, let's finish with a really deep flexion into the shoulder blades. I like this movement to start a little lower into the spine so that we tilt the pelvis forward, reach the chest space up, and as you open out through the chest space, you can roll your shoulders back, down, and then squeeze in between, almost like you're trying to hold a pencil in between the shoulder blades before tilting back through the pelvis, arching through the spine, bringing the chin to the chest, and maybe feeling length grow out sideways around the shoulders. Inhale, you could tilt forward through the pelvis. Feel that movement creep up through the spine. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down, and then squeeze in between. You might pause here for a breath, and then roll back from the pelvis, arching the spine behind, chin to the chest. You could time this movement with your breath so that you inhale, open out through the front of the body, squeeze in between the shoulder blades. Exhale, arch the spine back behind you, stretch out around the thoracic spine. Inhale, opening out through the chest space, squeezing in between the shoulder blades. Exhale, arch back, opening out around the upper spine. Let's keep flowing here, maybe with the breath. Seeing if we can bring a flexion out in and around the shoulder blades. Again, you might be like me, you might get a few crunchy bits, you might even hear a snap, crackle, and a pop, or it might be a really smooth movement for you today. Again, there's no right or wrong. We're simply observing. And when you feel you've explored this movement through the shoulders, maybe through the spine, you might pause back into center and release the shoulders into a neutral position. Returning your awareness back to your breath now. See if you can catch the faintest sound of your breath. Perhaps see if you can feel the rise and the release of each breath. Notice if you feel any sense of the rise and release of each breath around your shoulders. If it feels right, you might like to imagine that with each inhalation, your shoulders expand with lightness and space. You might like to imagine that with each exhalation, your shoulders release any tightness or tension. Inhaling lightness and space out through your shoulders. Exhaling, releasing all tightness and tension from your shoulders. Inhaling lightness and space throughout your shoulders. Exhaling, releasing all tightness and tension from your shoulders. You might notice that your mind begins to wander, as would be completely natural and normal for our exquisite minds to do. If it feels right, you might guide your awareness back inwards to your breath. And through your breath, home to your body again. And perhaps from your breath, expanding your awareness back up from your shoulders to your neck, to your head. And as you exhale your next breath, perhaps releasing any last piece of effort or energy from your face, softening your facial muscles. You might even release your tongue down from the roof of your mouth. Tuning in to the experience of your breath as it rises and releases through your body. Checking in with your body now. Checking in with how your body feels. Perhaps tuning into your body temperature. Tuning into any sense of your energy levels. Tuning in to which parts of your body meet with a chair and which parts of your body rest in space. You might take a moment now to appreciate all that you've done for your body and your health today. To know that you've taken this time to care and be present to yourself. To know that this will be something that you carry with you wherever you go from here. As we prepare to go from here, you might like to join me in closing today's session with the same breath with which we began. Drawing 5 mindful breaths. Inhaling through your nose. Exhaling long, silent whistling breaths out through your mouth. allowing your breath to flow naturally again whenever you feel ready. You might check in with the sounds around you. Check in with the temperature of the room you're in. And then maybe find your way back into the space by wiggling the toes or rubbing the fingertips together. Carefully beginning to reawaken through your body in ways that feel right for you. You might again roll your head about into your neck or try out a few of those shoulder moves we explored today. Or you might appreciate an extra moment of stillness. Before you get up, make sure you take your time and readjust. I strongly suggest everyone help themselves to a refreshing drink. And I want to thank you all so much for sharing your time and your presence here with me today. It's very much a privilege to be able to share the work that I do, and I greatly enjoy it. Of course, this is our first session together, so if you have any questions or queries or feedback, please don't hesitate to let me know. You could send me a private message or an email later in the week. That's always available. In a moment, I'll unplug my mic and then I'll be able to hear you if you have anything to say. But again, I also understand if you just want to float off and go do your thing or your work or wherever the day will lead you now. But thank you so much again, guys, and I look forward to seeing you.